What's up, and welcome into another episode of Locked On Bulls. I'm Matt Peck. That's my co-host, Big Dave. Up ahead on today's show, we got to talk about the latest ESPN rankings or grades trashing the Bulls offseason. That'll be fun. We're also going to touch on the latest update about the Bulls trying to add to their front court with one of those two remaining roster spots. We've got a big name that just came through, and we'll wrap up today's show with a look at Zach LaVine changing agencies because he joined a big one. All that right up next on Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up, and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by rockauto.com. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com today and tell them that Locked On sent you. I'm Matt. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave at BAWL, B-A-W-L Sports. And you can follow us at Locked On Bulls. You can also shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail at 331-979-1369. Before we dive into everything Bulls, Big Dave, how was your weekend, my friend?
Matthew Peck, how are you? My weekend was amazing. Very cool, very chill. Like I said when I came on here, if I was feeling any better, I'd have wings on. I'm just feeling great. How about you though, Peck? You're the one who is in Peck Manor.
Ooh.
And you have seen your what I call Peck Kryptonite, which are your two nieces, because you cannot be angry or mad or sad, and they are your complete kryptonite. So how are they?
I'm great, man. Me and bro just got up here yesterday afternoon. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, the background behind me is not my wall of Chicago sports stuff, because I am up in the loft above the garage at my folks' place here in Northern Michigan. It is my beautiful escape. And my nieces were here waiting for me, so I am the happiest version of myself. And in addition to hanging out with my nieces, I'm also taking this week off of Twitter. So I will be here doing these episodes with you, but no Twitter for a week. I am replacing all the time I spend on Twitter with hanging out with my nieces instead, and it is way, way better. So I'm in a great mood, man. I'm in a fantastic mood. You know what can't even ruin my fantastic mood? The latest piece from ESPN claiming that the Bulls had a shitty offseason. That's what we got to talk about right now, Big Dave. The latest, it was the Eastern Conference rankings of grading the offseasons. And it's done by Kevin Pelton, an ESPN senior writer. He, I believe, was one of the other people in that conversation with Nick Friedel on The Jump a couple weeks ago, saying, the Bulls might even fail to make the play-in this offseason, and everybody was up in arms. But so as you scroll through, so he gives the Hawks an A, the Celtics a B+, the Brooklyn Nets an A-, the Bulls a C+. A C+, and I believe it's an ESPN Plus insider account. So those of you who don't have access behind that paywall, here it is for you real quick. I like much of the Bulls offseason. I think a 4-year, $82.5 million deal for Lonzo will age well with Ball entering his prime. And the Bulls got a protected first-round pick and a lotto ticket in Derrick Jones Jr. for Lowry Markkanen's rights and another sign-and trade. The third Chicago sign-and trade, adding DeRozan on a 3-year, $82 million deal, hurts the Bulls' overall grade. Not only did they pay DeRozan far more than anyone else could have offered, they gave up a first-round pick and valuable vet Thad Young for the privilege. Chicago needs to make the playoffs to justify dealing for veterans DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic, while overcoming what projects as one of the league's weakest defenses in order to do it. Big Dave, what are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, man. So you're mad. So your grade drops because you gave up the untradeable Thad Young and a draft pick and some money for all-pro DeMar DeRozan. Okay. Where do I begin with this? That's bad. That's just bad. Come on. So because they got a better player, first of all, need you to run down the players who you think are better than DeMar DeRozan on the Chicago Bulls. Start there. You know what I'm saying? Like do that. Second of all, he fulfilled a really serious need that the Bulls had, was they literally had no wing help and they had no other shot creator on their team and nobody else you could give the ball to in the fourth quarter. Like, people don't think about this point. Who are you giving the ball to? Like, who gets the basketball in the fourth quarter when Zach is double teamed and dribbling it off his foot and stepping out of bounds on the baseline because he has to do too much, like he's been doing the first 4 years of his career here in Chicago? Just tell me that. Who you giving that to? Who you like, hey, go get me a bucket right now? You know, oh God. So then you bring up the reason why it's bad is because you give up Thad Young. Like, and this would make sense, Matt. Maybe if Thad Young was maybe in his...
The untradeable Thad Young, Big J.
Untradeable! How dare you even think about it? You get that out of your mind, sir. It would make sense if Thad Young was maybe in his, 4th year, 8th year, maybe. No, Thad Young has been in the league longer than DeMar DeRozan. He's been in the league a little longer. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, here comes the contract, Matt. Before it was $84 million, y'all saw the same. Then they took it down an extra $2 million to 82. All right. So you saved you a little money right there. So you get you a piece that you need and you paid for it, and you compare Zach with the best help he's ever had in his entire career in the NBA. And you're telling me you're going to be way better offensively. You're worried about the defense. I get that. That's fair. You're worried and concerned about who they're going to defend. I understand that. That makes sense. So because the only main gripe you have is their defense isn't going to be as good, that takes that A to a C+. That's what you're telling me right there. Mm-hmm. So the money you're worried about, you overpaid too much. You gave him too much money for DeMar DeRozan. You know what? I never, ever hear these things when it comes to the Miami Heat. I just don't. I don't hear these things. You maxed out Jimmy. Like, I'm not going to
maxed out Jimmy, paid a whole bunch of money to Kyle Lowry, who's older than DeRozan, and also gave a ridiculous contract to Duncan Robinson. The Miami Heat got a B+ in their grade.
Of course they did, Matt. Of course.
The only Eastern Conference teams given a worse grade than the Bulls by Mr. Kevin Pelton were Toronto, who basically did nothing other than get Precious Achiuwa and take on overpaid Goran Dragic's contract while saying goodbye to Kyle Lowry, and the Cavaliers, who gave Jarrett Million $100 million and then drafted Evan Mobley and then gave Lowry all of that money. And the Cavs offseason basically made no sense. They still are stuck in Kevin Love limbo. They don't know what they're doing. They gave up Larry Nance. They've got Garland and Sexton floating around. So the Bulls, apparently, according to Kevin Pelton, had the 3rd worst offseason of all 15 Eastern Conference teams. while adding DeRozan and Lonzo.
Oh, yeah.
and getting all of that haul for a disgruntled, not worth anything, restricted free agent Lauri Markkanen in their 4th sign and trade of a single offseason. Look, we've been through this with other recent rankings and polls among these people and these experts, and just add it to the list. And Bulls, add it to the bulletin board. Like, you know what? Use it as motivation. Nobody's believing in you. Everybody's saying you overpaid DeRozan. I can't wait to see DeRozan season with the biggest chip on his shoulder. Because guess what? I mean, why are you so concerned about this? There is no such thing as an untradeable contract in the NBA anymore. If Westbrook can get traded, if Chris Paul can get traded like that on those contracts, you're worried about an $80 million contract for DeRozan, who's still in his prime. Yes, he's past 30, but he's only past 30 by a little bit and is coming off of one of the statistically most impressive seasons of his career. And you paid way too much for it's just ridiculous, Dave.
It is, man. It's really silly. It is really ridiculous. And you've upgraded your team, like your entire team. Like, forget what you think their offseason moves were. The Bulls' grade coming into the offseason was an F, just for the team, just for who they have on there. You would have done anything to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? You make any move you can to get out of it. I think my favorite word in there was valuable reserve Thaddeus Young. That's what you gave up. You gave up a valuable, not starter, a valuable you're mad at about a valuable reserve. So if we had given up Lowry Markkanen for the same thing, what you think would have been written about Lowry Markkanen out here, Matt?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gave up the valuable guy with the potential to be, it would have been that kind of thing. All I keep hearing is people being mad about the money. Nobody's talking to me about basketball, Matt. Nobody's talking to me about what's going on the floor. Nobody. Everybody's like, well, you paid him too much. You gave him too much money. Well, what does he do for you on the floor? Yeah, I mean, he can play it up, but you gave him so much money. Nobody's talking to me about bow. Tell me about the bow. That's what I want to hear about. I don't care about this money. Tell me about the ball. Are we a better basketball team or not? Yeah, I think we are. Is it going to help us win more games? Yeah, I think we're. And then you say you got to make the playoffs. Like, what? Like, right. You gonna look at this and say we ain't making the playoffs? Like, oh man, we got to do it now. Well, I don't know how we can add all this and we. Oh my goodness, we got to sneak in. We got to backdoor into the playoffs. We got to compete with the Charlottes now and backdoor up into the playoffs. Oh my God, man, what is wrong with y'all? Like, it makes no sense to me anymore, man. And Matt's right. Matt is completely correct, and I'm glad Matt is feeling like I would, and I'm feeling like Matt would. Like, we completely switched roles right now because he's up in Peck Manor and he's a different human being. But he's right. This is bulletin board material. This is something to come in with that chip on your shoulder. I mean, their whole thing should just be littered with all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just
taking notes, taking notes and taking names. All right, Big Dave. We also have to talk about the latest update with a potential target the Bulls are still eyeing to round out their roster. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, would you like to tell our listeners about Sweat Block? Because I have had some seriously hot couple of days. It's been cooking in Chicago. It's even hot all the way up here in northern Michigan. And I am using some Sweat Block.
Look here, man. I walked outside, Matt, and I said, what the hell? And I went right back inside. This is too ridiculous. And the minute I walked out, that sweat said, oh, yeah, baby, it's time. Like the second I walked outside. And guess what? You know what that sweat couldn't do? Come through. You know why? Because of this right here, baby. Because of the doctor-created, doctor-recommended Sweat Block. Works up to 7 days per use. And my favorite thing of all, the dry shirt guarantee. If Sweat Block does not keep you dry, you get your money back. Come on, man. It's featured and tested on the Rachel Ray Show by, who's some hot people I can think of? Someone who people are always around to fire. Maybe chefs? No, not hot enough. Let's go with firefighters. Yes, it is tested by firefighters. So that lets you know it works and it still stayed dry. And that's awesome. And also, guys, it's manufactured right here in the US of A. All right? That's a beautiful thing. You wear what you want. It's your little secret of confidence. And when you're going out of town, make sure you keep one in that toiletry bag, fellas. Make sure you have one too. And ladies too, you might have to sweat also. Ladies, I'm not going to leave you out. Sweat is for everybody. And so is Sweat Block. So this is what you do. You go to sweatblock.com. And when you go there, use the promo code LOCKEDON. And you will save 20% on your purchase from Sweat Block. And you might even get a card like I did. Might even get a card from the CEO, my main man, Chase. He might send you an extra one too and tell you thank you for go ahead and getting you some Sweat Block. So save you some money, save you some time, and save you some hassle of sweating through your shirt. You don't want to do that. Save it, y'all. Go get you some of this. Sweat Block. Stay dry.
Today's episode of Locked On Bulls is also brought to you by Indeed. General managers ask questions to find the right players, like do they have ice in their veins? When you're hiring, you can use Indeed assessments to help make sure you find candidates with the skills that you need. When hiring gets hard, you need Indeed, the job site that makes hiring incredibly simple. Just attract, interview, and hire. In fact, with Indeed, you can do all of your hiring in one place, even interviewing. Don't just hope your perfect candidate will find you, like all of the ESPN experts are hoping that the Bulls fail this season.
They got hard.
Indeed's hiring tools help you cut through the noise to hire faster and smarter. In fact, Indeed Instant Match provides a list of quality candidates whose resumes are on Indeed the moment you post a sponsored job. With Indeed assessments, choose from 135 different skills tests to help make sure you're finding applications from people with the skills you need. According to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined. You heard that right. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And here's how you get started. Get started right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/locked. Again, that's a $75 credit at Indeed.com/locked. Indeed.com/locked. Offer valid through September 30th. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Big Dave.
Yes,
The Bulls, as we sit here on Monday, August 30th, have a roster with 13 people on it. 2 spots left if the Bulls want to use at least one of them, if not 2. And we got an update from the latest bits and pieces. Here's updates around the league NBA column from Charania for The Athletic. And in case you couldn't see it or didn't see it, here's what. Along with Brooklyn and Golden State, the Bulls are pursuing free agent forward Paul Millsap, according to sources. Millsap, a battle-tested 15-year NBA vet, finished a 4-year stint in Denver, in which the Nuggets had a 64.7 winning percentage and reached the Western Conference Finals in 2020. And for those of you who are saying Paul Millsap is washed, check this out. At 35, Millsap's steal and block rates per 36 were in line with his career average, and last season, his 56.5 true shooting percentage was around his career average. In Brooklyn, Millsap would compete for a starting power forward spot alongside Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Boom. So there is that update. We were talking on one of our episodes last week, Big Dave, about who the Bulls still might be targeting to try and round out this roster, maybe adding some depth at, the power forward spot, some rim protection, something like that. Because, Lowry is now gone. We're not sure if Marco is going to be super useful as a rookie. You got Vooch and Bradley at the center spot, but you need another power forward, right? Unless you want to play Derek Jones there for a lot of minutes. Yes. So here it is. The Bulls are, in fact, according to Shams Charania, pursuing Paul Millsap, but they're competing for his services with Brooklyn, a title favorite, and Golden State, who, look, the West is stacked, but if Klay Thompson comes back and is Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry is the MVP candidate that he showed he still is last season, and Draymond is still there doing his thing, that would be a pretty enticing place to join up, as well as the Warriors try and reclaim their NBA throne. So, Big Dave, what are your thoughts here on the Bulls pursuing Millsap and the competition they have for his services?
Well, it kind of just solidifies what you and I have been talking about for a while, is the Bulls are going to go after Paul Millsap. And it just made logical sense that they would do that, especially tying in the Arturas connection, the Arturas Karnisovas connection, because as we've seen in this free agency in this offseason, Arturas and Mark are going and getting their guys. They have a connection with every single person they've went and got. Like, it's been their guy, including Derek Jones Jr., which Joe Cowley pointed out so accurately to us, that he wrote about that last year. So when I saw this, man, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. This is what we thought. This is exactly what we said they were going to go do. We see the need. We see where it fits. We know what he can bring to this team. I've talked about it many a day about, his goondom and why I would love for him to be on this team. When you talk about the other teams that are going after him, Matt, Golden State and Brooklyn, I mean, yeah, you got Kevin Durant and you got Steph Curry. You also got 2 teams who are logically competing to go to an NBA Finals this season. Everybody has the Nets penciled in to do it. A lot of people are picking Golden State to make that run as a dark horse because, like you said, you got a healthy Thompson. You got Draymond, of course, and you got the super equalizer in Steph Curry, who was third in the MVP voting last year. So that's very enticing. That would have concerned me years ago. It don't concern me no more, Matt. It really don't. Because I have seen AK and Eversley this offseason do things that I've never seen a Bulls team ever do. This is honestly the
like
best.
like 4 sign-in trades in one summer.
4. Like who? I can't remember who wrote that. That was like, yo, 1 is rare. Like
Right.
1 sign and trade is rare. They did it 4 times, and 4 really good ones. Like they did it 4 times. It's honestly in my years of watching Bulls fandom, the first offseason, like it's like the best offseason they've had, like ever. Like I can sit here and argue this. And I'm not talking about, going to get in Dennis Rodman. I'm talking about every single move they've made. Right. I've been like, yeah, like, yep, this is the move you're supposed to make. This is what you're supposed to do. Every single one. So I would have been concerned, Matt. But here's the thing I've learned about AK and Mark Eversley. When they want somebody, they go get them. Anytime they've said, we want this person, we want this guy here, they got him. Like Vooch wasn't even on the radar. Nobody was talking about it. Guess where he's at? Lonzo, couldn't get him in, during the trade. He might be going into free agency minute 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then DeMar DeRozan. There were 6 other teams vying for DeMar DeRozan. We weren't even on the radar. The Bulls weren't even on the radar, according to the pundits and everything that was being written. They weren't even on the radar. But you know who knew he was on the radar? DeMar DeRozan. Because he had been talking to Vooch. He had been talking to Zach. So it had been in his ear, and you just didn't know it. So when I see this, Matt, even though it's Golden State, knowing that it's Brooklyn, I still, honestly, this season, I don't have any worry. All my faith is in AK and Mark Eversley because they have shown me when they want them, they go get them.
Yeah. And whether it's DeRozan or now Paul Millsap, the perception around the league and NBA talking heads being like, oh, that player's washed. Mm-hmm. Whether it's DeRozan or Millsap, it's informing us that you're not paying attention, and certainly at least didn't pay attention last season. Because, as we mentioned, DeRozan, one of the best statistical seasons of his career last season in San Antonio. And I love that Shams included that little blurb about what Millsap did last season, because a lot of people out there, even some Bulls fans who aren't high on the Millsap idea, are saying he's old, he's washed, he's got nothing left. Per 36, blocks and steals right there along with his career average. And that's what you're really hoping Millsap can contribute, is some quality defense and maybe, guard some people who are bigger than he is, maybe guard a little bit around the perimeter as well. Yeah. And that his true shooting percentage is right on par with his career average. So it's not like you're going to ask Paul Millsap to do as much as all-star Atlanta Hawks version of Paul Millsap.
Right.
Give him some quality minutes. But the one hang up there that's interesting is, with all these pieces that Brooklyn has going on, and do they pitch to Millsap, hey, you could be a starter and you can start with the three-headed monster of KD, Kyrie, and Harden? Because maybe Millsap loves that idea. In Chicago, I mean, does he take P-Dub's start in the starting spot in the starting lineup? I hope not.
No, he does not.
If he's accepting that veteran bench role, he could be a really good piece. But maybe for whatever reason, Brooklyn sees him as a viable starting option.
Yeah, because Brooklyn doesn't really have those options, so they kind of gotta put him in that kind of role as a viable
Blake
starting
Griffin.
Option. Yeah, but I'm thinking as far as center is concerned, like who's their center? Like who's their 5 going to be?
DeAndre.
He literally never played. Like that's. It's not an exaggeration. He did not play at all. So I don't even know if he's still playing basketball. He might be a Udonis Haslem for all I know. But who knows if he wants to start anymore. I know, listen, his numbers with the Denver last year, 20 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds. That's literally all I'm asking him to do here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not asking him to do more than that. I'll take even less. I'll take 7 points and 5 rebounds in 18 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even need all of that, but I just need that toughness that he provides. Now, the starting might be tempting, but at the age he is, does he want to start? Like, does he still want to play that position and go bumping the ground with these, younger guys out here now? Does he want to go against Jared Allen? You know what I'm saying? Dragging that up and down the floor? As Kareem said in Airplane, you try to drag Bill Walton's ass up and down the floor all day. Does he want to drag him up and down the floor? I don't know. And plus his size, does he start over Blake Griffin? I don't see that. Blake didn't do anything to lose his starting position. That's why I put him at center, because I didn't see Blake do anything to lose the starting position. So Golden State, he wouldn't start there either. They're pretty set and how their starting lineup is. He will be coming off the bench. He will be providing that bench help for him. But dude, I mean, it's something to say. Like it will say a lot to me about the relationship he had with Arturas. And I think that's going to speak to all of this. If their relationship is as good as I'm thinking that it was, then I mean, I'm just not concerned, Matt. Like I wish I could be. If we don't get them, it'll be their first missed shot, and I'm okay with that. But right now, I have all the confidence in the world they're going to hit the shot. I just believe that.
Yeah. We'll see. And look, if Millsap wants to ring chase right now, obviously Brooklyn is where he'll go.
Yeah.
As interesting and perhaps competitive in ways that they haven't been recently, the Bulls might look after these offseason moves. They're still not Brooklyn. They're not coming into this season as title favorites like the Brooklyn Nets. So we'll see if there are any updates on that Millsap pursuit throughout the week. We will keep you guys posted here. Go ahead.
One more quick thing on that, Matt. It also depends on the contract he wants to sign also. So if he signs a nice 1 or 2 year deal with the Bulls and he still might have time left to go ring chase, that might be an option also. So that's going to matter too.
Right. So as far as I understand it right now, the Bulls still have a significant portion of the biannual exception available and the TPE portion available around $5 million. So we'll see. The Bulls can give some money to Paul Millsap on a veteran deal that's not just a vet minimum. But again, if he wants to ring chase, he'll go to Brooklyn. Big Dave, we still have to talk about the Bulls' bright, shining star, Zach LaVine, switching agencies in the middle of the offseason. Before we do that, though, tell our friends here, our Locked On Bulls listeners, about rockauto.com.
Now, y'all know why y'all here right now. You're here to hear about one of the greatest places to get your parts from in the country, in the world, in my opinion. And that's just me, because I'm Big Dave, and that's Matthew Peck. rockauto.com, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with that ever-increasing numbers of those make and models, it is now impossible, and I said impossible, for your local chain auto parts store to keep up with everything that you need. So why even endure it? Why even go through it? Do you want to deal with those intimidating questions? Well, where are you going to put your crankshaft on your left side? Well, which side of it? How much is your oil there? Is that a 10W4 or a 5W30? You don't know. You just want the part. So why even go through that? Go ahead and deal with rockauto.com. Save you some time, save you some money. It's a family-owned business serving those do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Reliably low prices for every single customer. They got everything you're going to need, man. You need some brake parts, you need them tail lamps, you need that motor oil, even need some new carpet. rockauto.com is your place. So this is what you do. And this is mandatory that you do this. You go to rockauto.com and you go to that locked in and you write locked in or locked on actually. In that how did you hear about us section. Just write that locked on. So that'll let them know that you were sent by Big Dave and my man Matthew Peck. That'll let them know. It's amazing selection. It's reliably low prices. All the parts your car will ever need. Sing it with me. rockauto.com. Luther Vandross.
I like how you said Luther Vandross, and my brain, because it was you and we're here on our Bulls podcast, heard load the van, as in like get in the van.
Tomato, man.
Luther Vandross, load the van. Oh,
Luther Vandross.
All right, Dave, last thing on the agenda today. Friday night news dump, and boy, was it a weird one.
It was.
All of a sudden, I'm sitting on my couch Friday night, getting ready for bed, 11 p.m. Chicago time. Casey Johnson tweets, Innovative Sports, BDA Sports, and Zach LaVine sever ties, per sources. 5 minutes later, Casey Johnson tweets again, Zach LaVine is expected to sign with Klutch Sports Group, according to a league source. Zach leaving his old agency, joining the Rich Paul crew. We know that his new teammate Lonzo Ball is one of the representatives. We also have the interesting added context of Nerlens Noel, a former client of Klutch Sports, filing a lawsuit this offseason, claiming whatever, like several millions of dollars in lost potential earnings. A lot of Bulls fans panicking about this, being like, oh, great. Well, there goes Zach in free agency next season. I'm sitting here saying, what? No, they just got Lonzo, another one of their clients, to go play in Chicago, a big market. And yeah, they got Zach and lured him away from his other agency. But why would they want to drag Zach away from a big market team where they have another client and they teamed them up? Because Rich Paul has to have a contingency plan for once LeBron retires, and that's not that long from now.
Hello, don't people get that part? This is a business, ladies and gentlemen. I know they're friends and all, but at the end of the day, this is business. That's why even when Lonzo was with Klutch Sports, what did they do? They still traded him. He still got traded, guys. Like, he still got sent to New Orleans for Anthony Davis because it was a business move. It's what the move needed to be. I wasn't concerned. I was happy for Zach. I was like, oh, cool. You know, yeah, you got your Klutch Sports. That's a name. That means your dollars are going to go up. That means I should see your face more, you know, on commercials. I should see your face more in some movies. That's good for you. If you think Zach is like, oh, I'm Klutch Sports, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to LA now, guys. Klutch Sports, you know. No, that's not how that works. As soon as I saw it, though, man, I immediately said, oh, man, Bulls fans are freaking out. I'm sure they are.
Oh, of course.
I'm losing their minds about it. I just knew. I didn't even go read any of that. I'm sure
everybody panic.
I didn't go even check it out, man. I was just like, dude, it's cool. That's a smart business move. Now I might see him on LeBron's TV show. Now I might see Zach LaVine on The Shop. You know what I mean? Like, He comes in with a backing now that you have to respect because obviously he wants to be on that elite level now. So going to Team USA and getting that gold medal elevated his status. So you get to an agency that elevates it. You don't see people worried about when Drew Rosenhaus gets the same dude. Like, it's just, it's what it is. You know, this is business, guys. Don't confuse that. This is still business. And Zach LaVine made a great business decision, in my opinion, because you've seen the money that Rich Paul will bring you up in here. You see the status that gets you up in here. Now he can be in a 2K story. You know what I'm saying? Like, now he can do that kind of thing, man. So it matters, Matt, and it's a good decision, and I'm happy for him. Zach LaVine will be back next year. I don't know what y'all tripping on.
It's good news, man. It is good news and good for Zach because this is yet another piece of evidence in Zach is becoming a star in this league.
Yes,
Zach is becoming a star that people are watching and looking at and admiring in this league, and that matters. Being in, you know, shout out Hamilton, being in the room where it happens. Right? Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball. We now have teammates who are excited that they're teamed up, playing in a big market city, and they are a part of the biggest, best room where it happens in the NBA right now when it comes to players and the star scene of the NBA's elite, and it is Klutch Sports. Like, look, am I still a little peeved at Rich Paul and Klutch Sports for potentially getting the Bulls in trouble with the Lonzo deal? Because we're still waiting to hear if the Bulls are going to get a draft pick taken away from them for tampering. Yeah, I'm still kind of ticked off at them. But am I so ticked off at them that I'm upset that Zach LaVine is now in the room where it happens and a member of Klutch Sports? Absolutely not. Because that's way more important. Because it is another sign that this franchise is finally getting some respect and is not looked at as like the town leper who's like, nobody touched this guy over here living under the bridge. He has leprosy. That was the Bulls on the NBA public image, you know, world for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, it's, you know, what's great? Gar and John are best friends with Mark Bartelstein. Let's sign all of his clients. You know what's better? Having multiple Klutch Sports clients wearing the Bulls jersey. Because that business is booming.
Yeah, because even when Matt talks about the room where it happens, you think when Zach LaVine goes in for a meeting with Klutch Sports, there are going to be other NBA players there waiting on a meeting with Klutch Sports. You know what players do when they're waiting? Have conversations, have maybe talk, gab it up a little bit. We've seen Zach and what he's done with his gabbing. You've seen what he's brought to this team. It would be great. It's just great that he's there now, Matt. Like, he's ascending to that kind of level, to where you could go around representing the Chicago Bulls and teams are looking at you and players are looking at you like, man, they might be doing something over there, man. They, you know, Zach is now, you know, he gets to go to this cool new club. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the episode of Seinfeld when George was getting into that club because of the model that he was
yes.
dating, in the meatpacking district. It's the same thing. It's just like that. He gets to go to this cool new club, man, and hang out. And it's just fun, man. Honestly, this is what an NBA team looks like when it's operating correctly, guys. This is what it looks like. You get the big name agents, you get the bigger players, star players, you make these kind of great moves because the product on the floor works. And it's so exciting. I'm excited for him, man. And to let you know that he ain't stopping. I don't know if you saw that tweet he put out, Matt, just a picture of him at the gym. It was just a picture of the gym, and it said 8:47 a.m. And underneath it, he wrote every day. This is what he is, man. Zach is here to hoop. We trying to win, bro. I had somebody on YouTube say, stop. What's she tell me? She told me to stop screaming like a little girl when I'm doing this. And I told her, hey, this is new to me, okay? Like, this is new to me. And also, this is who I am. So,
right.
You think when the Bulls start winning, it's about to be worse. It's about to be some squeals up in here. Because, man, look at this team, man. Come on, baby. Come on, look at this. How can you give this a C+?
You can't tell us not to just shine and enjoy life right now and squeal with delight anytime the Bulls' new front office does something smart. Because we've spent years with our heads buried in our hands, just shaking our heads. Because wow, it has been a dark, dark road. I bless the hearts of all of you who have been listening to this daily Bulls podcast for years, while we've had to put up with this dreck on the court and the dreck that was infiltrating and poisoning the upper offices of this organization. No more. Look at all of the awesome things we've gotten to talk about this offseason. We haven't even gotten to see them play yet. You should be so excited to see them play, because that's going to be the best part of all of this. And if you're worried right now because you found out a couple of nights ago that Zach LaVine is now with the agency that is, that is LeBron James's agency, and they steal all these players away, whatever. Stop worrying. Enjoy the fact that the Bulls have a guy that Klutch Sports wanted, and that we've done all these wonderful things in the offseason. I haven't even finished celebrating the Lowry sign-in trade yet. Remember when that happened on Friday?
Dude, they got Derrick Jones Jr. And they got picks. Your beloved ESPN picks that they gave up. Well, you gave up first-round picks, and we just got one. We just got one back. We just got it back. What you crying about? C+. Why? Because you gave him too much money. Yeah, all right.
Overruled. Why? Because it's devastating. I object because it's devastating to my case. Overruled. Good call. Look, this is good news for Zach. You should be happy for him. He has earned this entry into the NBA's biggest and brightest stage. He has earned that with his play over the last couple of years. And you should not be worrying about him getting stolen away. You should be proud of him, and you should be happy for him, and you should be excited about what it means for this Bulls organization, who is no longer the leper living under the bridge.
No more. We are not under the bridge, man. No red hot chili peppers.
The cool people are talking to us in the hallways between classes again, guys. Isn't that nice? They're not knocking our books out of our hand as we're trying to get to chemistry. No, they're inviting us to the cool kids party after school. That's a good thing.
Oh my God.
High school.
God. That is so true. God, that is so true, man. Like and I can understand, like, again, Matt, this is gonna take some getting used to for Bulls fans. Because remember, even though you and I saw them win, so we kind of, have an idea of it. A lot of Bulls Nation didn't grow up with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they just know this Paxson and this Garpax era. That's kind of all they know. The chaos without the winning. We had the chaos too with the championships, but there was a winning going on. Right. And trust me, our chaos was way worse, but there was a winning going on with it. So, but this is all they know. All this ridiculous things happening to them, but no winning involved with it. So when they see these things, they knew what it meant when Garpax was here. You know what I'm saying? Right. They knew what that meant. They read between those lines. these are different lines you got to read between here, man, with these guys. This a whole different book. Like, you reading the wrong novel. We got a new book now. Like, you were reading the old books where Richard Nixon was still the president in the history book. We've upgraded. You know what I'm saying? We got new books. We got brand new textbooks for you guys. You know what I'm saying? To read, man. You got to read those now, man. So come with us, Bulls fans. It's okay. Come on with us. It's going to be a fun season, man. Trust, it's going to be fun. It's going to
be fun. That's it for today. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, if you aren't already, come subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bulls on YouTube. And you can, throw some comments under there. We'll interact with you in the comments underneath our videos. And you can, enjoy watching me and Dave lose our minds on camera instead of just listening to us. You can also shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail, 331-979-1369. We'll probably get to some mailbag content later on in the week because we are in the month of September in off-season mode. We are going to cut down. We're not doing 5 episodes a week, so we'll probably be off tomorrow. We'll come back on Wednesday with another episode for y'all. But, in the meantime, I got to go hang out with the only 2 people in the world who make me smile more than Big Dave. And they are collectively, end on end, not as tall as Big Dave, but they do make me smile. So until Wednesday, have a great start to your week, everybody. For my co-host, Big Dave, I'm Matt saying thanks for listening as always. See red, be good. Peace out.